Hello everyone, welcome again to another lesson in general mathematics. This time we will learn how to solve rational inequality. So how do we solve for a rational inequality? So we have here an example of a rational inequality, which is 3x minus 10 divided by x minus 4, which is the quotient is greater than 2. Okay, so if we are solving for rational inequality, ang hinahanap nating solusyon is in the form of interval notation. And in our previous video lesson, I have already discussed how to write interval notations and also how to graph it on a number line. So again, ang solution dito ay interval notation. So notice that we have here the inequality symbol, which is greater than. And on the right side of our inequality symbol, there is 2, value of 2. And on the left side, there is a rational expression. Now, how do we solve for rational inequality? So we have to follow the steps. First, we have to rewrite with 0 on the right side and simplify. So if you have noticed from our given example, we have here 2 on the right side. Pero, ang sa rule natin, rule number 1, it must be 0 on the right side. So, kailangan natin eliminate ang 2 and we have to equate this to 0. So, paano kaya ma-eliminate ang 2? So, simply, we have to transpose. Ang pinaka madali na paraan ay i-transfer ang positive 2 sa kabilang side or sa left side. Kapag nag-transfer siya or tumawid siya sa kabilang side, mag-iiba na ang kanyang sign. So, if it is positive on the right side, it will become negative on the left side. And eventually, magiging 0 na ang right side natin. So, here, we have negative 2 on the left side. So, nawala ng positive 2, naging 0 na. Or else, isubtract natin ang 2 on the right side. So, 2 minus 2 is 0. So, kung anong ginawa natin sa right side, yun din ang gagawin natin sa left side. So, that's why mayroong minus 2 here. So, 2 minus 2 is 0. That's why we have here 0. So, after rewriting it with 0, so the next step is we have to simplify the left side. So, kailangan isang rational expression or isang term lang ang mananatili sa left side. So, we have to simplify this part. So, recall how do you subtract a fraction by a whole number or a rational expression by a whole number. So, of course, we have to find or look for the LCD. Now, in looking for the LCD of this expression, imagine that you are also doing this like how you simplify fraction. So what do you think is the LCD of x minus 4? And imagine there is a 1 denominator here. So what is the LCD of x minus 4 and 1? So the LCD, of course, is x minus 4. So after looking for the LCD, you have to evaluate. How to evaluate? Divide the LCD by the denominator of each term. So x minus 4 divided by x minus 4 the answer is 1. Next, you have to multiply. 1 times 3x minus 10 is equal to 3x minus 10. So recall that any number multiplied by 1 is the number itself. Next, we do the same thing to the next term. So, x minus 4 divided by 1. Again, but before that, we have to copy the minus symbol here or the subtraction symbol here. So, again, x minus 4 divided by 1 is x minus 4 times 2. So, that is 2 times x minus 4. Next, we have to simplify this part and follow the rules of your PEMDAS. So you have to simplify first the terms inside the parentheses. And to do that, we have to distribute the outside factor to the inside factors. So negative 2 times x is negative 2x. We also have negative 2 times negative 4 is equal to positive 8. So after simplifying the terms inside the parentheses, we have to combine like terms. So observe that we have like terms such as 3x and minus 2x. So 3x minus 2x is equal to x. We also have negative 10 plus 8, which is equal to negative 2. So we have already the simplest form of our expression on the left side, and we have arrived at only one quotient. So isang term na lang ang meron tayo sa left side. Therefore, we have simplified the left side of our inequality. And simply copy the inequality greater than 0. So after simplifying, we have to assume what are the possible values that we're looking for. Ano ang mga posibleng values na pwedeng maging values ng ating x. So, importante ito para mas madali sa ating hanapin ang solusyon sa ating inequality. So, since we have here symbol greater than, what do you think are the values? What possible values do you think are we looking for if greater than 0? So, of course, the only possible values that are greater than 0 are those positive values such as positive 1, positive 2, 3, 4, and so on. Okay, we cannot have negative values because negative values are less than 0. And always take note that 0 is always greater than negative values. So again, ang target natin are positive values, which are the solution to our inequality. Step 2, identify the critical points. Ano ba ang ibig sabihin ng critical points? Ang critical points ay mga number or values na makakapagbigay sa atin ng result na 0 and undefined. Paano ba makukuha ang 0 or undefined? 0 if ang numerator natin is equal to 0. Example, kung ang value ng x natin is 2, for example, replace natin ang x ng 2, ito ay magiging 2 minus 2, which is equal to 0. Therefore, we can conclude that 2 is a critical point because it will make our numerator 0. Again, magiging 0 lamang ang ating rational expression if 0 ang ating numerator. Next, paano ba makukuha ang result na undefined? Magiging undefined lang ang ating rational expression kapag ang value ng denominator natin is 0. Paano ba magiging 0? Ano ba ang value ng x na makakapag-0 equate to 0 ng denominator natin? Example, when x is 4. When we replace x by 4, it will become 4 minus 4, which is 0. Kapag ang denominator natin ay 0, automatically, it will be undefined. So, therefore, we can conclude that 4 is a critical point. So, we have two critical points, 2 na makakapagbigay sa atin ng 0 quotient, and we have 4 critical point which will make our expression undefined. Next, we have step 3. We have to plot the critical points. So how do we plot our critical points? So simply draw a number line and locate where can we find your critical points. So take note, our critical points are 2 and 4. So your 2 is to the right side of your 0. And of course, your 4 is to the right side of your 2. So before plotting critical points, we have to remember these symbols. We have open circle. Open circle ang gagamitin natin kapag ang critical point ay hindi kasama, not included. Ano ba ang mga hindi kasama? It is the undefined, the critical point that will make our rational expression undefined, or kapag ang ating expression or inequality here is greater than 0 or less than 0. Ibig sabihin, hindi kasama ang critical point na yan. Next, solid circle naman, if kasama ang critical point sa ating solution. For example, you have an expression expressed in greater than or equal to 0, less than or equal to 0. So, tandaan lang na kapag ang symbol, ang inequality symbol ay may bar sa ilalim or simply equal to sa ilalim, it's either greater than or equal to, less than or equal to, ibig sabihin, ang critical point na yan ay kasama. Except na lang kung ang critical point is nakakapag-undefined sa ating rational expression. Ibig sabihin, hindi siya kasama. So here, we have to identify 4 and 2. Is 4. Unahin natin ang 4. Kasama ba or included ba or hindi? Included or not included ang 4 sa ating solusyon? So the answer is no because it will make our expression undefined. Ibig sabihin, bawal ang value na 4. Next, our 2. Kasama ba ang critical point na 2 sa ating expression, sa ating solution? So the answer is no because we have here the symbol greater than 0. So, since greater than 0 lang, walang equal to or bar sa ilalim, ibig sabihin, hindi kasama ang critical point na 2. Then, after plotting our points, we have to identify the interval, yung mga region na kailangan nating i-test kung ito ay kasama sa ating solusyon o hindi. So, observe that we have intervals. Pagkakahati-hati, meron tayong to the left of 2 region or values to the left of 2. We also have to the right of 4 or we have between sa gitna ng 2 and 4. So, take note of these intervals. These are the possible solutions to our inequality expression, rational inequality here. So, after plotting points, we have step 4, you have to test points. Kailangan nating identify anong posibleng mga values ng x na kapag i-divide natin ang numerator by denominator, it will be greater than 0. So, kanina na-identify na natin na only positive values can be the quotient or our target here because positive values are greater than 0. So, first, we will try the first interval, which is x is less than 2. So, to the left of 2. So, tip lang, kapag ang shaded region natin ay to the left of a point or a number, ibig sabihin less than ang ating gagamitin. So, dito natin makikita sa shaded part na to, ang mga values such as positive 1. 1 is, if x is 1, 1 is less than 2. Also, negative 1 is less than 2. We also have negative 2 is less than 2. Negative 3 is less than 2. So on and so forth to negative infinity. So, ibig sabihin, ang mga values na narito sa shaded part na to ay mababa ang value kaysa sa point natin na 2. Now, we have to test points. We have to get any point or identify any point sa shaded region natin na itetest natin if it is included in our solution or not. So, we have to get first, we have to try the value of x which is positive 1. So, again, nasa kaliwa siya nasa shaded, kabilang siya sa shaded region ng ating number line. Kabilang siya sa values na x is less than 2. First, we will try it to plug in our numerator. So, our numerator is x minus 2. So simply substitute x by 1. 1 minus 2 is equal to negative 1. So our result is negative. Take note, negative ang ating numerator. Next, we have the denominator. We will try denominator x minus 4. So again, simply substitute the value of x to your x in the denominator. So it will become 1 minus 4, that will be equal to negative 3. So ang ating result here, our result here is still negative. Kapag kukunin na natin ang whole equation, whole inequality, we have numerator divided by denominator which is greater than 0. So if, take note, our numerator is negative 1, our denominator is negative 3. That is greater than 0. Take note that negative divided by negative is positive. So we have here positive result. And this is true, of course, because 1/3 is greater than 0. So here are the summary of signs. Ibig sabihin, para mapadali, if gusto mong mapadali ang pag-identify if it is included or not, or solution or not, we have to summarize the signs. We have numerator. If 1 ang value ng x, the sign of the numerator is negative. The denominator is negative, and negative divided by negative is positive. We will also try another one, negative 1. We will try still. This x is less than 2, or ang negative 1 is still nasa kaliwa ng 2. So, hindi tayo kukuha ng mga nasa kanan ng 2 because it is not included in our first interval. So, we will try negative 1. Plug into numerator, x minus 2. That is negative 1 minus 2 is negative 3. The result is negative. When we try to plug in to denominator, negative 1 minus 4, that is equal to negative 5. So, the result is still negative. And if we combine, or if we plug in numerator and denominator, we have negative 3 divided by negative 5, which is greater than 0. Take note, negative divided by negative is positive. So, we have positive 3/5 greater than 0. So, the result is positive, and that is true. So, the summary of signs, we have the numerator negative, denominator negative, and the result, or the quotient, the negative divided by negative is positive. So, if you have noticed, ang result natin, if we, na-try natin, na-test natin ang 1 and negative 1, which are part of x, which is less than 2, ang result na nakuha natin ay positive values. And if you also try negative 2, negative 3, or and beyond, or so on, and to negative infinity, any number to the left of 2, you can still arrive at a positive result. So, ibig sabihin, kasama ang interval na to sa posibleng solusyon, sa mga solusyon ng ating inequality, because our target are positive values. Next, we have second interval to test. That is the interval between two critical points. So, this is x, which is greater than 2 but less than 4. So, again, hindi kasama sa values ng x ang 2 and 4. So, what are the possible values of x? So, we have 3, because 3 is greater than 2 but less than 4. We can also have decimals such as 3.9 or 3.5, 3.1, 3.2, and so on. So we only take a whole number, and the only whole number that is between 2 and 4 is 3. So we will try 3. We will test 3 if it is included as a solution to our inequality, rational inequality. So, first we have, of course, x is equal to 3. We will try to plug in 3 to our numerator, x minus 2. So, 3 minus 2 is equal to positive 1. So, the result is positive. Next, to our denominator, x minus 4. So, plug in 3 to x. 3 minus 4 is equal to negative 1. The result is negative. And combine the two. So we have the numerator 1 divided by denominator negative 1. Simplify. Since positive 1 divided by negative 1, we have the quotient negative 1. Therefore, we have negative 1 which is greater than 0. The result, take note, the result is negative and negative 1 is not greater than 0. So here, this is false. So this is not true. And because a negative value, a negative number is less than 0. So here is our summary of signs. We have the numerator, the result is positive. Denominator is negative. Of course, positive divided by negative is negative. Since the result is negative, therefore, we can conclude that the second interval, which is x is greater than 2 but less than 4, is not a solution to our interval. Take note, we are looking for positive values. Since we have negative values here, negative result, therefore this is not included. And the last interval that we will test is the interval to the right of 4. So this is this region or this part, this shaded part of the number line has values x which is greater than 4. Again, kapag ang shaded region is to the right of a point, to the right or nasa kanan, ibig sabihin ang symbol is greater than. So that is another tip. Kapag sa kaliwa, so that is less than. Kapag nasa kanan, that is greater than. So here, 4 is not a value of x because 4 is not included because it will make again our expression undefined. So ano ba ang mga values ng x na kasama sa shaded region at or sa shaded part of the number line here? So we have 5. 5 is greater than 4. We can also 6. We can also 7, 8, 9, 2 positive, any positive values which are greater than 4. So we will test. We will try 5. We will try 5 to plug. We will try 5. Plug in to numerator. Plug in 5 to the value of x. So we have 5 minus 2, which is positive 3. So the result is positive. Next, our denominator, x minus 4. So 5 minus 4 is equal to positive 1. So the result is positive. And if we combine, so our numerator is 3 divided by denominator 1. And simplify, 3 divided by 1 is positive 3. So we have here the result positive 3 is greater than 0. The result is positive. And this is also true because positive 3 is greater than 0. So we have here summary of signs. Our numerator is positive. Denominator is positive. Positive divided by positive is positive. Next, we have 6. We will try 6. We will test 6. So we have to plug in to numerator. To our numerator x minus 2. So we have 6 minus 2 which is equal to 4. The result is positive. Next, we will try to plug into our denominator, x minus 4. So we have 6 minus 4 that is equal to positive 2. So the result is positive. And if we combine or if we plug in numerator by denominator, divide numerator by denominator, 4 divided by 2, the result is positive 2. So positive 2, the result, we have here positive result and 2 is greater than 0 which is true. So we have here summary of signs. Positive, the numerator is positive, the denominator is positive. Of course, positive divided by positive, we have the quotient of positive. And take note, since the points that we tried are all positive, we can conclude that this interval, x is greater than 4, is a solution to our rational inequality. So So, we have from our given example, we have simplified it into this expression. Take note, we have on the right side 0 and we only have one quotient on the left side. So, from the testing of points, we have concluded that the only solution to our inequality expression above is represented by this graph. So we have here intervals, x is less than 2 and x is greater than 4. How do we write this in our interval notation? And take note, we have here, if we extend our arrow to the left, we can say that is until negative infinity. And if we also extend the shaded part here, we can conclude that this part also is positive infinity, because we have a lot of values which are positive values which are greater than 4, and also here a lot of negative values which are less than 2. So therefore our intervals, which is the solution to our rational inequality, is written as open parentheses negative infinity. Again, you have to write it from left to right. So we have negative infinity to positive 2 until positive 2. Since 2 is not included, we will use parentheses. And we will use the symbol union because we combine the two. Because these are the two solutions to our equation. So we have from negative infinity to positive 2, and we also have from 4. Since 4 is not included, we use parentheses to positive infinity. Okay, so that is the solution to our problem, rational inequality. So we have another problem here, another rational inequality, x minus 2 divided by x plus 4, which is greater than or equal to 0. So again, notice that we have here a symbol of rational inequality, and to the right of rational inequality, we have here 0, and to the left of a rational inequality, we have here the rational expression. So again, take note, the steps in solving for rational inequality. We have step 1, rewrite with 0 on the right side and simplify. So notice that our given rational inequality has already 0 on the right side and only one quotient on the left side. So we don't need to rewrite because mayroon ng 0 on the right side and isang quotient lang meron tayo dito on the left side. And if we check the rational expression on the left side, it is already in simplest form. So here, what are the possible values that we are looking for? Since our inequality symbol is greater than or equal to 0, what are the possible values? Ano ba ang mga values na mas malaki kaysa sa 0? So we have, of course, positive values. All positive values are greater than 0, such as 1, positive 1, positive 2, positive 100, and so on. And we also have 0 because of the equal symbol here. Because 0 is also equal to 0. So we are looking for positive values and 0. So the next step is we have to identify the critical points. Again, remember that critical points are the numbers that will make our rational expression 0 and undefined. So magiging 0 lamang ang ating rational expression if the value of our numerator is equal to 0. And if we try to plug in 2 as the value of our x in our numerator, it will become 2 minus 2, which is 0. Therefore, we can conclude that 2 is a critical point. Now, how do we arrive at undefined? So, paano magiging undefined ang ating rational expression? Kapag ang ating denominator, ang value ng ating denominator ay equal to 0. So, what value of x. What is the value of x that will make our denominator equal to 0? So for example, if we plug in negative 4, the value of x is negative 4. So it will become negative 4 plus 4, and that is equal to 0. So kapag 0 ang ating denominator, automatically it is undefined. So therefore, negative 4 is a critical point. So we have here critical points such as 2, positive 2, and negative 4. So after identifying the critical points, what you're gonna do is you're going to plot the critical points. So again, in plotting critical points, you have to write a number line. Identify on the number line the critical points. So if this is 0, your positive 2 is to the right of 0, and your negative 4 is to the left of 0. So again, important reminder, we will use open circle if the point is not included. So ano ba ang mga hindi included? Of course, the critical point that will make our rational expression undefined, or if we have the symbol here in our rational inequality, such as less than 0 or greater than 0. We will use the solid circle if the critical point is included, or if we have a rational symbol here, greater than or equal to 0 or less than or equal to. So again, ang palatandaan dito is kapag may bar sa ilalim or equal to. Okay, we will plot now the points. We will start with positive 2. Since our positive 2 is a critical point and the symbol above is greater than or equal to, may bar sa ilalim. Therefore, our positive 2, critical point, is included. So, kasama siya sa mga values ng x na hinahanap natin. And negative 4, since it is undefined, ang ating negative 4 is undefined, therefore, hindi siya kasama. So, we will use the open circle. And here, we have intervals. So, meron tayong tatlo, such as to the left of negative 4. We also have to the right of positive 2 and kasama ang positive 2. And we also have sa gitna ng dalawang critical points. So, meron tayong tatlong intervals na itatry if these are solutions or not to our rational inequality. So, we have here the first interval to the left of negative 4. So, this is now our step 4. So, mas mahaba-haba ang ating step 4. So, we have here, we will try values to the left of negative 4. Values such as negative 5, negative 6, and so on. So, ang mga value na ito ay nasa kaliwa ng ating critical point na negative 4. And we can write these values as x, which is less than negative 4. Again, as previously given to you, kapag ang shaded region ay nasa kaliwa, ibig sabihin ang gagamitin yung symbol is less than. Since our negative 4 is not included, so therefore, our inequality symbol here is less than. So we will make a table and test points. So we will get any point will do, kahit anong points pwede nyong gamitin. You can also use negative 8, negative 10, basta nasa kaliwa ng negative 4. Except lang for negative 4, which is not included. So we will use negative 5. So plug in to your numerator x minus 2. So that is negative 5 minus 2. That will give you negative 7. So the result is negative. Also do it in your denominator, x plus 4. So, negative 5 plus 4 is equal to negative 1. The result is negative. And if we plug in to our whole inequality, so we have numerator negative 7, denominator negative 1, and simplify. So, negative divided by negative is positive. And we have here the result. 7 is greater than or equal to 0. Since the result is positive, So we have here a true value, true inequality symbol, true expression, because 7 is greater than or equal to 0. So we have to summarize the signs. We have negative, negative, and of course positive. Negative divided by negative is positive. Take note, our target values are positive values. So we will try another one para sigurado tayo. So we will try negative 6. Still, it is on the left side. Still, it is on the values of x, which is less than negative 4. So plug in to your numerator. That will give you negative 8. The result is negative. Try also to your negative. And that is also negative 6 plus 4 is negative 2. The result is still negative. And if we combine negative numerator, a negative 8 divided by denominator negative 2, negative 8 divided by negative 2 is equal to positive 4. So the result is positive and 4 is greater than or equal to 0, which is true. So therefore, we have the summary of signs. Our numerator is negative, denominator is negative, the result or the quotient is of course positive because negative divided by negative is positive. Since we have arrived at positive values here, we can conclude that this interval notation is part of the solution. This interval, this interval is included. Next, we will try another interval, which is to the right of positive 2, where 2 is included. And this we can denote this as the values of x is greater than or equal to positive 2. So we can have values of x which are greater than or equal to 2, such as positive 3, positive 4. You can also have 5, so on to positive infinity. There are unlimited positive values here, which are greater than positive 2. So we will test points. We will try positive 2. Since positive 2 is included, a while ago we have, since this is critical point, we have already identified the value, and the value of course is 0. So since we have here 0, when x is 2, our quotient is 0. So 0 is greater than or equal to 0. And this is true because 0 is also greater than or equal to 0. So we will try another one, which is positive 3. So plug into your numerator. 3 minus 2 is 1. The result is positive. Try to your denominator. Do the same thing. So 3 plus 4 is 7. The result is positive. 1 divided by 7, that is also positive. So positive divided by positive is positive. So we have here positive value. So that is also true. Next, we have summary of signs. Still, we have positive numerator, positive denominator. The quotient is positive. We have, next, we will try 4. You can also try other positive values. You can try positive 100, positive 1 million, and so on. Because there are a lot of unlimited positive values which are greater than 2. So again, try it. Plug in into your numerator and denominator. Here the result is positive. In the denominator, 4 plus 4 is positive. And if you combine or substitute directly to your inequality, you have 2 divided by 8. So positive divided by positive is positive. So you have here positive value. Since the values here are all positive, the quotients are all positive, we can conclude that this interval is included as one of your solutions to your rational inequality. Next, we have the last interval, which is between your critical points, and this can be represented. This has values which is greater than -4 but less than or equal to +2. So again, notice that 2 is included. That's because we have, that is why we have a symbol here, equal to. For -4 is not included in the values of your x. So again, what are the values of x here, which are greater than -4 but less than or equal to +2? You can have -2 or +1. You can also have -3. All, lahat ng mga values na nasa gitna ng -4 and +2. So test points, you determine any point between the two, nasa gitna or nasa shaded region. We will try -2. So plug into your numerator. -2 minus 2 is -4. And you have a result of negative. Another one in your denominator, x plus 4. So -2 plus 4 is +2. The result is positive. And if you combine the two, simplify, -4 divided by +2 is -2. And that gives us -2 is greater than or equal to 0, which is false, because negative value is not greater than 0. So we have here the summary of signs. Numerator is negative, denominator is positive, and your quotient is negative. Why quotient? Because you divide numerator and denominator. So we will try also +1. Try plug in +1 to your numerator. Your numerator is -1. 1 minus 2 is -1. The result is negative. Try also plug into your denominator. The result is +5. 1 plus 4 is +5. The result is positive. And if we divide -1 divided by 5, the result is -1/5. So since the result is negative, therefore this is not true, because negative sign is not greater than 0. So here the summary of signs. We have the numerator as negative, denominator as positive, and of course the quotient is negative. Since we have here negative values, we cannot include this interval because the only target that we have are positive values. So therefore, hindi kasama ang interval na to sa magiging solusyon ng ating rational inequality. So we can conclude therefore from our given rational inequality, and after trying points from the different intervals that we have, we can conclude that the solution to the rational inequality above are, we have here x, the values of x which are less than -4, and also x is greater than or equal to +2. So again, take note that if we extend the shading of this region, we are having values of x which are -infinity, and also to the right are +infinity. There are unlimited positive values here to the right, and also unlimited values here to the left, which are less than -4, and also to the right are greater than or equal to +2. So therefore, the intervals or the solution to our rational inequality are written again from left to right. So we have negative, open parenthesis, -infinity, comma, to -4. Since -4 is not included, we use parentheses, so close parentheses. Since we have two intervals as our solution, so we will use union. We have here open bracket 2. Since 2 is included, we will use bracket. So we have open bracket 2, comma, to +infinity. This is the solution to your rational inequality here. So this time, it's your turn. Try to find the solution to this rational inequality. So we have number 1 and number 2.